He actually not fell in love with her. He forced himself onto her.
It's a massive injustice done to her, failures all round to this poor lady who could never have deserved whatever happened to her by Van Vuuren on that day of the murder.
You know, it was probably one of the most gruesome murders that I've ever seen in my career.
Andrea Venter, a 25-year-old accountant at the time, was described by family as a kind and driven young woman. She fell in love in Rustenburg in 2005, but things eventually turned sour a few years later.
She turned completely. She never talked to us. She was always afraid of him because he said if he can't get her, no one gets her. And if she doesn't comply with his pressure, he will get some Somalians to come and kill me and rape my wife. Colonel of the SAP phoned me. I answer my phone. She says, Mr. Venter. I say, yeah. Andrea's dad. Yeah. We need you here now. Andrea's been murdered. I was shocked and I was devastated at that stage.
Gerhard Jansen van Vuuren had allegedly stabbed Venter 14 times outside her complex in full view of security. He then tried to commit suicide by slitting his own neck using the same knife he had allegedly used to stab Venter. He, however, survived.
He actually not fell in love with her. He forced himself onto her.
She had to leave her town where she was happy with her father and her mother. She had to come to Johannesburg to get rid of him. He followed her. This poor woman was just at the mercy of this person.
I had a court order here after he thrown the computer out and thrown her out of the vehicle. I had a court order. He just buggered the court order. He just went on.
And unfortunately, the South African police did not respond as they should have. We have times when they're not responding to the parents' calls or Andrea's calls to get involved. And we also know, for example, at one point, all that happened was that a policeman from Rustenburg phoned the accused, Van Vuuren, and told him to stay away from her. And that's not really what should have happened in those instances. He should have been arrested.
When they arrested him, everything was in his pocket, her car keys, as well as his car keys and the knife, pocket knife.
After his immediate arrest on scene, 19 long months of court appearances followed.
Postponement the next month, postponement the next month, postponement the next month. Every time it was just postponed, postponed, postponed.
Then one morning, the Venter family and some authorities working on the case woke up to some shocking news.
Got the newspaper and I got back, and as I opened it, bail 15,000 for murder. How did he get bail? We weren't in court. No one was there.
A trial date was set, and Venter, along with others working on the case, went to court as they usually did. Little did they know, Jansen van Vuuren had different plans.
While he was awaiting trial, before he got bail, he met with two Brazilian nationals who had been arrested for, I believe, drug-related charges. And through his interactions with them, they basically recommended that he should try and come to Brazil.
3 days before his trial, Jansen van Vuuren was driven to King Shaka International Airport by his own father. He used a false passport with the name Daniel Joseph Mutong and hopped on a plane headed for Brazil. In a recent interview with Carte Blanche, Jansen van Vuuren's own mother admitted to helping him obtain false documents. When Jansen van Vuuren landed in Brazil, however, he was immediately jailed for false documentation and for allegedly bribing a policeman. Brazilian authorities insisted that he serve the sentence for the crime he committed in Brazil before being extradited back to SA. In 2016, SA authorities were warned about his early release. Meetings were immediately set up with Brazil to make sure that this doesn't happen.
They told us, they take notice of this, but don't worry, they got a good system, this will not happen. I'm telling you, a month later, the worst happened. They in fact released him without sending him back to South Africa.
So the error, unfortunately, essentially seems to lie in the hands of this judge that arrived at the prison one evening under very suspicious circumstances to instruct him to be released.
Jansen van Vuuren was once again a fugitive. For all those years, Brazilian authorities kept in contact with Interpol Pretoria to try and locate him.
It's like a needle in a haystack. How do you get this person again? And we followed up many leads, but everything was a dead end.
Eventually, their efforts paid off.
And the brigadier phoned me, he says, I'm sending some pictures to you. It was a relief. And actually, all the old wounds is now opened again.
He was kept in police custody at a public prison in Rio de Janeiro, pending his extradition to SA.
I could finally see it's him. I was just relieved that he was back in South Africa, that finally justice can be done.
Jansen van Vuuren is set to appear at the Johannesburg High Court for his pre-trial hearing on 27th November 2020. The statement that Jansen van Vuuren's mother made about her helping her son flee the country was new information to everyone. So, does this make her an accomplice to the crime?
Legally speaking, yes. And will she admit on national television that she assisted? Whether or not there's going to be a prosecution or not, I can't tell you now.
Although I feel very confident about the state's case in this regard, having looked at all the blunders that have happened so far with this, I'm always a bit anxious about saying that this is done and dusted.
The system failed her in the sense that the protection order that she got wasn't implemented.
The wounds just get healing, and then all of a sudden there's one or other reporter or one or other thing that happens again, and all the wounds is open, and then you must try and put some ointment on to get it healed again. I hope he gets what he deserved. And then one day, the big judge will talk to him.